The Unwritten Bond, written by June Ever, narrated by Myriam Berger. Chapter 1. The first thing Hope Whitmore noticed as the car rolled through the wrought iron gates was how quiet it was. Not the kind of quiet that came with stillness, but a charged silence, as if the air itself were holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. "Miss Whitmore," the driver said without glancing back. "We'll be arriving in 2 minutes." Hope sat straighter in her seat, fingers tightening around the worn leather strap of her duffel bag. The academy rose ahead, nestled deep in the Vermont forest like a secret carved into the hills. From the outside, it looked like a castle modernized, sprawling stone buildings with sleek black glass windows that reflected the ancient woods. Omega Sanctuary Academy. The name still felt surreal in her mouth. She'd never expected to be found, never expected the test she took out of spite would confirm what her body had been whispering since she turned 19. She was an Omega, a real one. The kind whispered about in late-night gossip threads and carefully monitored in discreet government programs. Her status had been flagged, registered, and before she could blink, she'd been enrolled, transferred, claimed by the state for her own protection. At 21, Hope was the oldest unregistered Omega in the country, a late bloomer, as they called it, though the polite term didn't stop the pitying looks or the low-level fears from alphas who'd passed her on the street. Once her scent had begun to change, they knew what she was before she did. And now she was here. The car pulled to a stop beneath a covered archway. Thick columns framed heavy wooden doors etched with silver runes. A logo above the door gleamed faintly. A stylized circle enclosing a trio of symbols, a heart, a flame, and an open eye. She barely had time to step out before the doors opened. A woman in her 50s swept forward, crisp in a fitted navy jacket, her silver-streaked hair twisted into a no-nonsense bun. She held a tablet in one hand and a soft smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Hope Whitmore?" she asked. "Yes?" Hope's voice was steady, though her heart raced. She stepped forward into the light, her posture tall, proud, even if her stomach was tight with nerves. Her skin was a deep, glowing brown, smooth and unblemished. She was striking. High cheekbones, full lips, and dark, watchful eyes that seemed to absorb everything. Long, tightly coiled curls framed her face, gathered into a half-up style that showed off the strong curve of her neck. She had a presence that lingered even in silence. She didn't dress to stand out, black jeans and a worn jacket, boots scuffed from a long walk to nowhere. But nothing about her could hide. She was someone people noticed. "I'm Dean Marin. Welcome to Sanctuary. Come with me. Your orientation begins now." Hope fell into step beside her, eyes darting around. Students moved through the grand entrance hall beyond the doors, their chatter hushed. She caught flashes of dark uniforms, black and gray, tailored perfectly. It felt more like an elite prep school than some mystical haven for rare biological outliers. Sanctuary is a private academy funded and supported by both government and private foundations. Our mission is simple, Marin said as they passed through a metal detector that didn't beep. We protect and guide Omegas. Here you'll learn how to manage your bond, your scent cycles, and how to interact with bonded and unbonded alphas and betas. Hope swallowed. Do I get to choose if I bond? Marin paused, turning slightly. Her gaze softened. You always have a choice, Hope. No one will touch you without consent. This is your sanctuary. It exists for you. The words should have comforted her, Instead, they filled her with questions. The tour was brisk, classrooms equipped with technology that rivaled MIT, sprawling greenhouses that housed rare herbs and flowers used in scent stabilizers, even a therapy wing with private meditation chambers. Everything was designed with omegas in mind, but it was the people that caught her attention. There was something different about them. The alphas she passed didn't leer or hover. Betas offered polite nods, and the few omegas she glimpsed moved with confidence, not fear, as if they weren't prey, but something far more powerful. When they arrived at the infirmary for her intake check, Marin paused. Dr. Vale will complete your medical intake. He's head of Omega Care and well-versed in late transition cases. Hope nodded, trying not to fidget. Is he? He's an alpha, Marin said, but he's trustworthy. The door opened before Hope could ask more. A man stood in the doorway, tall and broad-shouldered, in a fitted gray shirt beneath his white coat. His hair was a warm brown threaded with silver at the temples, and his eyes, blue-gray and assessing, skimmed over her with a quiet intensity that made her stomach tighten. Miss Whitmore, he said, voice a low baritone. I'm Dr. Vale. Come in. Hope followed him into the bright exam room, her throat suddenly dry. He didn't touch her, not once, not even to shake her hand. But a scent, sharp pine and smoke, lingered in the air, steady and grounding. I'll just do a standard scan, he said, gesturing to the reclining chair. Then we'll talk about your cycles and any physical adjustments you've experienced since your designation. Hope nodded, eyes fixed on the small painting above the sink, a field of golden poppies swaying in the wind. I haven't had a heat yet, she murmured. Is that weird? Not weird, he said without judgment. You're a late onset Omega. The body doesn't always follow textbook timelines. The scan was quick, non-invasive, but she was acutely aware of his presence. His voice was gentle but firm, reassuring, professional. Still, when she left the infirmary 15 minutes later, her skin tingled in a way it never had before. Her dorm was in the north wing, Omega-only housing. The hallways were quiet, the rooms spaced far apart. Safety, privacy. But before she could settle in, another knock came. This time it was a man not much older than her, with tousled dark hair and a backpack slung over one shoulder. His shirt was untucked, a grin tugged at his mouth. You Hope? He asked. She nodded, wary. Name's Theo. I'm your student guide, he said, offering a lopsided smile. I show you the ropes, make sure you don't get lost on your first week, and rescue you when you inevitably forget where the cafeteria is. You sound very sure of yourself. Experience, he said with a wink. Theo was different, still alpha, but lighter somehow, less intense than Dr. Vale, more comfortable in his skin, but there was something in the way he looked at her, a curiosity that burned just under the surface. Don't worry, he added as they walked. Most of the older alphas here are respectful. Some of the younger ones, not so much. But I've got your back. It's kind of my thing. She glanced at him. Why? Theo shrugged. Maybe I like underdogs. Or maybe I just think new Omegas shouldn't be thrown into the deep end without a life vest. It was the first time she smiled all day. Dinner that evening was served in the East Dining Hall. It was surprisingly normal, long wooden tables, soft lighting, and a buffet that looked more five-star hotel than school cafeteria. Hope scanned the room, feeling more like an intruder than a student. Hope Whitmore? She turned to see a man standing at one of the side tables, a tablet in his hand, tall, lean, sharp cheekbones, and glasses perched low on his nose. He looked like a scholar from another era, dressed in a button-down and vest beneath a dark jacket. "I'm Professor Cade," he said, eyes locked on hers. "You're enrolled in my History of Pack Integration course." "Oh, hi. Yes, that's me." His eyes lingered on her a beat too long. "I look forward to seeing your insights. Late onset omegas bring a unique perspective to the evolution of alpha-omega dynamics." Was that warmth in his voice, or something else? Hope felt her pulse stir. That night, as she lay in bed beneath the moonlit skylight, Hope stared at the ceiling, heart pounding. She was here, and Omega, in a sanctuary of alphas and secrets and unspoken promises. And somehow, 3 of them had already started to pull at something inside her, something new, something terrifying. And she hadn't even had her first heat yet.